Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Rusty McCranie and welcome to Weather Express. It's your weather in 5 minutes. Start the clock. Friends, we normally start off these videos looking at where the most intense storms are across the country, where we have a risk for severe weather. But when you look at these temperatures, we have to start with the heat and the wind in the Intermountain West and most of the plains that'll be moving east to encompass a lot of the central part of the country over the weekend. These are your current air temperatures. You have a brisk area of low pressure, a surface boundary in South Dakota, dry air from Mexico all the way into the northern plains, and what we call compressional heating to bring air temperatures, your actual air temperature in Rapid City, South Dakota, 106 degrees. You have triple-digit heat through a lot of the eastern sides of Wyoming, most of Nebraska, eastern Colorado, a good portion of Kansas, towards the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles. It's unbelievable heat there, and there's a heck of a lot of wind. Wind gusts right now back into the Intermountain West are 50 and 60 miles an hour. Winds are freshening up through the plains in the 30, 40 to close to 50 mile an hour range as well. When you factor in the dew points and the temperatures, you have relative humidity values that are in the single digits here in Wyoming and Colorado and portions of Utah. You want to talk about a fire threat, that is going to be a big problem there with the winds and the drier air in place. And this is all sliding off towards the east. When you look at the Weather Service Office's advisories across the country, do you see all of this orange? From Minnesota to Colorado and from Michigan to Louisiana, you have heat advisories that are in effect for the weekend. Just to give you an idea of what we could expect, in Missouri, a heat index up to about 106. In Michigan, a heat index over the weekend up to 105. Back in Colorado, the heat index up to 104 along the eastern plains. Friends, it's going to be hot, it's going to be mainly dry, and there's going to be a fire threat coming with this. You should expect triple-digit feels like temperatures across the central part of the country over the weekend. Now, we're going to get a couple of storms, but they have to ride up and over that boundary that I mentioned. So right now, a couple of severe storms in portions of Montana. These will be moving into North Dakota and Minnesota late on this Friday and early overnight on Saturday. And look, believe it or not, these storms could get really intense. They haven't developed yet, but from the Bismarck area, Fargo on over towards Duluth, we have an enhanced risk of severe storms. That's a 3 out of 5 on the scale from the Storm Prediction Center. One smaller severe thunderstorm watch right now, 3-inch size hail, baseball size hail, maybe even higher, winds of up to and maybe exceeding 70 miles an hour. So you get that boundary, and then on the north side of that, you're going to have some very intense storms. We've had a few showers today in the Ohio Valley, Cleveland towards Columbus. Mainly dry in the northeast, a couple of showers back into portions of Maine. Thunderstorms are getting going right now across the I-75 corridor of Florida, from Gainesville back down towards Tampa, St. Pete, Bradenton, Sarasota. Intense lightning associated with those storms. Again, where it's not raining, it's so hot and dry. And you want to talk about the heat. Again, back into the four corners here, you're looking at 110 to 115 for some daytime highs. Contrast that with the Pacific Northwest. We had a nice little mid-level low pressure come in. You can see that spin. Look at the rain it's bringing from Seattle back down towards Salem and Portland. Showers and storms, Idaho, again, storms in western Montana. And temperatures, 50s, 60s, even a couple of 40s out there. What a stark difference. All right, let's get into the models. I'm going to bring up the high-resolution rapid refresh model, or HER model here, over the next 48 hours and loop this up. And take a quick second and remind you guys to hit that like button for me. I really appreciate it. So again, I want to get back into the storms that have yet to develop here late on this Friday, but how that's going to play out. So you'll watch these going gangbusters late tonight in North Dakota through central and the northern sides of Minnesota. Those are the areas. And I mean, these could be so intense, being fueled by those temperatures in the triple digits just south of there. So again, North Dakota, Minnesota, UP of Michigan, northern sides of Wisconsin, all with the opportunity for some really strong wind and storms. Those will then race across the northern sides of the Great Lakes, kind of skirt the northeast, getting back into places like Boston and New York City, but as not as intense of a variety here late Saturday into Sunday. Additional storms will probably redevelop behind this with this spin in portions of Montana, back into Idaho. Now, this is not as significant as far as the intensity, with the heat energy that we're talking about here and all that compressional wind. But the bottom line is, this is the area of the country that should expect severe storms for the next couple of days. So for Saturday, we shifted a little bit further to the east. Again, the UP of Michigan, back into portions of the Northeast with a slight risk for some storms as far as the severe side, and then build them back into the western Great Lakes and the northern and the central plains on Sunday, with even a few storms back towards the panhandle of Texas and the scattered variety you would expect this time of the year here in the southeast and up the eastern seaboard. But friends, again, just unbelievably, the temperatures across the plains that'll be spreading east. Get ready for that heat. Get ready for intense storms in the northern tier of the country. I'm into overtime. I appreciate you making Weather Express a part of our daily routine. Thank you so much for taking a quick second, liking and subscribing to the channel. Let me know where you're viewing from if you've been dealing with some of this heat. Guys, have a great rest of your day. I'm back tomorrow with your latest 5-minute forecast.